Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. Sorry for the absence of yesterday's episode, we've encountered some technical difficulties, but now everything is solved. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 790 days less the Russian invasion of Ukraine. The US Senate voted to approve a $95.3 billion aid package for Ukraine, Israel and Taiwan, reports Ukrainska Pravda. The bill received 79 votes in favor, 17 senators voted against. To enter into force, the bill must be signed by US President Joe Biden. Biden has already promised to sign the Ukraine aid bill as soon as it is on his desk on Wednesday so that weapons and equipment can begin to be sent to Ukraine this week. He said, quote, "We support our friends who are defending themselves against terrorists like Hamas and tyrants like Putin," unquote. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky expressed his gratitude to the Senate, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and Republican Leader Mitch McConnell, all Americans and US President Joe Biden for this decision, reports NV. The president noted that this vote strengthens America's role as a beacon of democracy and a leader of the free world. Zelensky emphasized that he also appreciates the support of President Biden and looks forward to the quick signing of the bill and the provision of the next package of military aid, quote, "which will match the determination that I always feel in our negotiations," unquote. According to CNN, Ukraine's next package of US military aid, likely worth $1 billion, might include long-range ATACMS missiles, reports European Pravda. The media sources informed that the new package will be provided under the PDA mechanism, which means that Ukraine will be supplied with weapons from the US Army Reserves, which is the fastest way available. The US will likely send Ukraine long-range ATACMS or Army tactical missile systems for the first time as part of the new aid package. According to Reuters, the package will include vehicles, Stinger anti-aircraft missile systems, extra HIMARS ammunition, 155mm artillery shells, and TOW and Javelin anti-tank ammunition. The media previously reported that the United States is preparing a larger-than-normal package of military assistance for Kyiv, which will include armored vehicles, particularly Bradley combat vehicles, Humvee military vehicles, and M113 armored personnel carriers, as well as missiles, artillery, and air defense equipment. It was also reported that most weapons from the US aid package for Ukraine are already in storage in Germany and Poland. This will accelerate the pace of delivery after a corresponding bill is adopted. Bloomberg sources also informed that the German government is pressuring the United States to provide Ukraine with at least one more Patriot system to strengthen the country's air defense, and Berlin will continue to put the same pressure on European allies. We would really appreciate if you could rate us, ideally with 5 stars, and leave a glowing review in the app where you are listening to this podcast, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and others. This really helps more people to find the Highlights from Ukraine podcast and learn the truth about Russia's invasion. The UK announced its largest ever military aid package to Ukraine worth £500 million, reports Radio Liberty. This will take the British military support to £3 billion this financial year. The package will include 60 boats, including offshore raiding craft, rigid raiding craft, and dive boats, as well as maritime guns. More than 1,600 strike and air defense missiles, as well as additional Storm Shadow long-range precision-guided missiles. More than 400 vehicles, including 160 protected mobility Husky vehicles, 162 armored vehicles, and 78 all-terrain vehicles. Nearly 4 million rounds of small arms ammunition. The British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announced that this funding is part of the London plan to increase defense spending to 2.5% of GDP, reports Ukrinform. He added that the spending on Ukraine's security will continue every year it is needed. Ukraine Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba has confirmed reports of suspending consular services to Ukrainian men liable for military service residing abroad, reports BBC News Ukraine. Kuleba noted that the protection of the rights and interests of Ukrainian citizens abroad has been and remains a priority for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. However, in the current circumstances, the main priority is the fight for Ukraine's survival. Quote, how it looks like now. A man of conscription age went abroad, showed his state that he does not care about its survival, and then comes and wants to receive services from this state. It does not work this way. Our country is at war, unquote, Kuleba emphasized. He reminded men liable for military service that the obligation to update their data at the territorial military enlistment offices existed even before the adoption of the new mobilization law. This means that Ukrainian men abroad won't be able to receive new passport when their current expires. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just two people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.